Hello from Mindset Daily, wishing you a day full of health, peace, and happiness. Thank you for watching the Mindset Daily channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support us. Thank you so much. What if greatness isn't something you chase, but something already inside you? What if the only barrier between you and your dream life is how you see yourself? And what if believing in yourself was the one shift that changes everything? Let's take a moment to challenge the way you've been taught to think. What if I told you that you already have everything you need to become great? That the only thing holding you back isn't your background, your resources, or your intelligence, but your mindset. The truth is, the world will only believe in you as much as you believe in yourself. Act as if you are the best. Walk into every room as if you belong there. Speak with the quiet confidence of someone who has already won, even if no one else sees it yet. Train your mind to know, beyond all doubt, that no one is better than you. Not because you're flawless, not because you know everything, but because you refuse to let doubt define your worth. Success isn't reserved for the elite or the lucky. It's claimed by those who decide, deeply and unapologetically, that they deserve it. And where does this decision begin? With desire. Not a simple wish, not a half-hearted dream, but a burning, relentless desire. The kind that won't let go of you, that drives you forward through failure, rejection, and fatigue. Every great success story starts there. Think of the greatest changemakers in history. People like Thomas Edison, who failed over 1,000 times before creating the light bulb. Did he casually wish for success? No, he was obsessed. He treated his goal as inevitable, no matter how many times life told him no. So pause and ask yourself, what do you truly want? Not what society expects, not what feels safe or reasonable, but what ignites you. What keeps you awake at night, whispering, you were made for more? That's your burning desire. That's the engine that will drive you, no matter the storm. And once you've found it, write it down. Put your goal on paper. Make it tangible. Research shows that written goals dramatically increase the odds of achievement. Why? Because writing transforms thoughts into commitments. And once it's on paper, see it. Every day, picture it clearly. Athletes, entrepreneurs, top performers, they all use visualization. It's not wishful thinking. It's mental training for success. Now that you've begun to understand the power of belief and the force of desire, let's take this further. What's the next step to turning vision into reality? Stay with me, because in the next part, we'll unlock the strategy that bridges dreams and results. Previously, we explored the power of burning desire and how visualizing your goal daily brings it to life. But desire alone isn't enough. Now it's time to unlock the next essential mindset of every high achiever: belief in motion. High performers don't just dream, they condition their minds for victory. They visualize success with such clarity and conviction that their brains begin aligning with that outcome. If you can see yourself winning, if you can feel it like it's already happened, you generate an unstoppable momentum. Your mind begins to search for ways to bring that vision into reality. But visualization by itself won't take you across the finish line. You must also act as if success is inevitable. That means showing up every day with a mindset that it's not a matter of if, it's only a matter of when. Far too many people wait. They wait for the perfect timing, the right resources, the ideal circumstances, or even permission. But the truth is this: success doesn't wait. It rewards those who move, who take the leap without guarantees and step boldly into the unknown. It isn't about luck. It's about commitment. It's about doing the work every single day, especially on the days when it's hard, when motivation fades, and when doubt starts whispering in your ear. True achievers don't quit when things get tough. They keep showing up again and again because they've already decided that their success is non-negotiable. And here's the secret: the moment you make that decision, the world begins to shift. You start attracting the right people, the right moments, and the right doors open, doors you didn't even know existed. More importantly, you develop the resilience to push through every obstacle. And slowly, you become the person worthy of the goal you're chasing. So don't wait. Don't make another excuse. Turn that desire into a driving obsession. Write it down. Visualize it. Feel it. And then take massive action. Because the people who win in life aren't just hopeful. They are relentless. They don't just want success. They demand it and refuse to stop until they get it. This is where faith comes in. Faith isn't just about believing when things are easy. It's about believing when no one else does. It's choosing every single day to trust that you have what it takes, even when the odds are stacked against you. Let's go deeper. In the next part, we'll explore how this unshakable belief becomes the foundation that makes the impossible possible. In the last section, we uncovered how unshakable belief and faith in yourself, especially when no one else believes, can ignite the path to success. But what happens when the world pushes back, when failure knocks and doubt creeps in? That's when real faith is tested. It's easy to believe in yourself when everything's going your way. When you're winning, when the praise is loud, when the path is clear, it takes little effort to stay confident. But what about when you're falling short? When the results don't show up? When the voices of doubt become louder than your own belief? That's the moment when you must stand firm. That's when you look in the mirror and declare with conviction, I am capable. I am worthy. I will succeed. The greatest minds in history understood this. Henry Ford didn't revolutionize the automobile industry because he had endless resources. He did it because he had unshakable faith in his vision. Oprah Winfrey faced rejection after rejection, trauma, and hardship, but she rose through it all because she refused to let failure define her. These individuals didn't let the world tell them who they were. Instead, they told the world who they were going to be. And the world eventually had no choice but to listen. The mind is your most powerful weapon. It can be the engine that drives you to unimaginable heights, or the weight that drags you down into failure. Your thoughts shape your actions. If you believe deep down that failure is your destiny, you'll start making decisions, often without realizing, that reinforce that outcome. But when you genuinely believe that success is not only possible, but inevitable, you carry yourself differently. You walk, speak, and decide with confidence. And life begins to reflect that energy back at you. This isn't about blind positivity. It's about alignment, getting your thoughts, your beliefs, and your actions in sync with your goal. It's about building a mindset so strong that it expects success. Not someday, but inevitably. And here's the truth. When your mind is conditioned that way, doors start opening. You'll spot opportunities in places others see none. Where others get stuck, you'll find solutions. But belief alone still isn't enough. You must act. You must take bold, decisive steps, even when nothing around you suggests it's working. Success rarely comes through a straight, smooth road. It's bumpy. It's filled with challenges, disappointments, and setbacks. But those who keep moving forward, fueled by relentless belief, are the ones who reach their destination. So let me ask you, what would you do differently if you knew you couldn't fail? How would you speak? How would you walk? How would you show up? Start showing up that way now, because the way you carry yourself shapes the reality you're about to step into. And speaking of reality, how do you turn this mindset into action that creates lasting transformation? That's exactly where we're headed next. Previously, we explored how belief becomes action and how acting with conviction, even before results appear, begins to shape your reality. Now, let's talk about where that confidence truly comes from and how winners build it from within. True winners don't sit around waiting for others to validate them. They don't need applause to feel worthy. Instead, they create their own certainty and force the world to take notice. Because the truth is this: No one will believe in you until you believe in yourself. No one will invest in your dreams if you aren't willing to be the first one to believe in them. If you hesitate, if you send signals of self-doubt, the world will mirror that energy right back at you. But when you show up with clarity and confidence, when you move as if your success is inevitable, you become magnetic. Opportunities, allies, and resources begin to gravitate toward you. People start paying attention, and they follow your lead, not because you've convinced them with words, but because you've already convinced yourself. In the end, success is a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's not something reserved for the elite, the lucky, or the privileged. It's earned by those who dare to bet on themselves, even when no one else will. Your potential isn't determined by the world. It's determined by the decisions you make day after day. So choose belief. Choose action. Wake up every morning and carry yourself like a winner. And soon enough, the world won't be able to ignore you. But how exactly do you train your mind to believe with such conviction? Especially when doubt, fear, and negativity are constantly fighting for space in your head. That's where the power of autosuggestion comes in. This is how high achievers like John D., Rockefeller, Andrew Carnegie, and Henry Ford built their unshakable belief. They all understood one fundamental truth: your thoughts shape your reality. Every great invention, every success story, every empire began first as a simple idea, a thought. Before anything became real, it existed in the mind. What you believe about yourself, your abilities, your future guides your actions. And your actions shape the life you end up living. Your mind works like a highly advanced computer, constantly running software based on the beliefs you've installed. If you feed it doubt, fear, and limitation, it will operate accordingly and steer you toward failure. You'll find reasons to quit. You'll attract the very obstacles you fear. But what if you started programming it differently? What if, instead of fear, you fed it with confidence, vision, and certainty? When you choose to consciously install empowering beliefs, when you speak truth into your own mind daily, you begin rewiring your brain for success. The change doesn't happen by accident. It's intentional. It's a daily decision. Because let's face it, the world around you is filled with distractions, with negativity, and with people who will gladly tell you what you can't do. That's why it's your responsibility to choose what thoughts take root. So how do you take back control of that inner programming? How do you become the architect of your belief system? That's exactly what we'll uncover next, starting with the words you speak to yourself every single day. Previously, we discovered that your mind operates like a computer running on whatever beliefs you install. Now it's time to learn how to rewrite that internal code through repetition, affirmation, and mental conditioning that reshapes your reality from the inside out. Affirmations aren't just motivational phrases. They are tools for reprogramming your subconscious mind, shifting it to expect success as your new normal. One of the most powerful ways to condition your thinking is by visualizing yourself achieving your goals and repeating statements that align with your vision of greatness. Each morning, before your day begins, stand tall. Look yourself in the mirror, not with hesitation, but with certainty, and speak directly to your reflection. I am the best. I am unstoppable. I am destined for greatness. At first, your mind may push back. Years of old programming may whisper, what if I fail? What if I'm not enough? But those doubts belong to the person you used to be, not the one you're becoming. Ignore them. Replace them. Keep affirming your truth, even when it feels uncomfortable. Because over time, with repetition, those declarations will stop sounding like hope and start feeling like fact. And when your mind accepts something as fact, your behavior follows. Your thoughts influence your emotions, and your emotions fuel your actions. If you believe you're unstoppable, you'll walk taller, speak bolder, and pursue harder. If you truly believe success is inevitable, You won't back down at the first sign of resistance. You'll push through. You'll adapt. And when you believe you are destined for greatness, you will attract the people, opportunities, and breakthroughs that others overlook. Still, belief alone won't get you there. Your actions must align with your mindset. Champions don't just say they're champions. They train, practice, and refine their craft daily. Successful entrepreneurs don't just think about wealth. They strategize, take risks, and outwork their competition. So ask yourself, what would the most successful version of you do today? How would they think? How would they move? How would they lead? Live like that version of you now, not tomorrow, not when it's convenient now. Because the more you repeat, visualize, and act in alignment with who you're becoming, the more natural it feels. What begins as effort becomes routine, and routine eventually becomes identity. Once success becomes part of your identity, there's no turning back. Yes, the world will try to mold you. Society will impose limits. But you are not here to conform. You're here to create. Remember, you control your thoughts. You shape your reality. The most powerful weapon you'll ever wield is your mind. Train it. Strengthen it. Unleash its full potential. And every single day, don't just hope, declare, I am the best. I'm unstoppable. Because when you believe it, truly believe it, the world will eventually have no choice but to believe it too. So now that your mind is primed with belief, let's go deeper into the kind of specialized knowledge that separates the dreamers from the doers. In the last section, we focused on affirmations and how training your mind can shift your identity towards success. But belief alone is never enough. You need something else to rise above the crowd: specialized knowledge. It's time to stop being general. In today's world, general knowledge won't get you far. The people who reach the top, the innovators, the leaders, the wealth builders, they don't just know a little about everything. They dominate a specific area of expertise. They become irreplaceable by going deep, not wide. Success doesn't come from simply working hard. Millions of people work hard every day and still stay stuck in mediocrity. Why? Because they lack the depth of skill and understanding that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Hard work matters, yes, but mastery? That's what gets you noticed. That's what opens doors others can't even see. Look closely at the highest achievers, the names we study, the stories we admire. They all have one thing in common. They've mastered something, a craft, a system, a body of knowledge. They bring an edge, a level of precision that others simply don't. So ask yourself, what do you need to master? What skill, what field, what unique expertise will set you apart from everyone else? That's the defining question, the one that separates the winners from the wishers. If you truly want to rise to the top of your industry, you must develop knowledge that others don't have. You must dive deep until your insight, your skills, your understanding becomes so refined, you become impossible to replace. This doesn't happen by accident. Mastery demands relentless commitment. You must become a student of your craft. Read voraciously. Study obsessively. Learn from the best. Seek mentors who've already achieved what you aspire to. Dissect their processes, absorb their strategies, and apply their methods in your own way. Don't just skim the surface. Don't settle for summaries or quick takeaways. Go deep. Learn the nuances. Understand the mechanics. Master the fine details most people overlook. Because in today's information-saturated world, it's not access to knowledge that sets people apart. It's how deeply they engage with it. And above all, apply what you learn. Knowledge that stays in a book or a notebook is wasted potential. Too many people read the right books, attend the right seminars, and still fail to grow. Why? Because they never implement. They never test what they learn in the real world. They never adjust, refine, and keep pushing until their knowledge becomes skill, and that skill becomes mastery. And when you reach mastery, your value skyrockets. That's when clients, companies and customers begin to seek you out. The world doesn't reward generalists. It rewards specialists. It rewards those who can solve specific problems better, faster, and more effectively than anyone else. So ask yourself again, what are you becoming a master of? And as you narrow your focus and sharpen your edge, there's one more secret every high achiever knows: the power of organized planning. That's where we'll go next. In the last part, we explored the value of mastery and how specialized knowledge separates you from the crowd. But here's something you must never forget. True mastery is never a final destination. It's a lifelong journey. The more valuable your knowledge, the more doors will open. The more refined your skills, the more the world begins to see you as indispensable. But here's the truth that high achievers understand. Mastery is a moving target. You can never stop learning. The very moment you think you've arrived is the moment you start falling behind. Why? Because the world doesn't stand still. Industries evolve. Technology advances. New insights emerge. If you want to stay relevant, if you want to remain ahead of the curve, you have to keep growing. The best in the world, those who remain at the top, never stop improving. They're always learning, always adapting, always seeking the edge. So make that decision now. Choose to pursue mastery not just once, but every single day. Pick a skill, a craft, a field, whatever aligns with your long-term vision, and go all in. Study it, practice it, absorb every bit of insight you can find, and above all, apply it. Because knowledge without action is just potential, and potential without execution leads nowhere. Let your consistent action become your differentiator. While others skim the surface, be the one who digs deep. While others stop at good enough, be the one who relentlessly refines. Remember, general knowledge keeps you average. Specialized knowledge makes you powerful. Be the person who knows what others don't. Be the one who has mastered what most people have only touched. And watch what happens when the world begins to notice. But knowledge and mastery alone aren't enough. You also need to make decisions. And not just once in a while. You need to become decisive, consistent, and confident in the face of uncertainty. A major study of thousands of people who failed to reach their goals found one common pattern: indecision. It wasn't a lack of intelligence or talent. It was the hesitation, the second-guessing, the waiting for the perfect moment that never comes. And while people hesitated, opportunities slipped away. Indecision is a silent killer. It doesn't announce itself, but it slowly erodes action, momentum, and belief. Every moment you spend overthinking or doubting is a moment lost forever. The most successful people in the world understand this. They make decisions quickly. They move with confidence. They trust their instincts and their ability to figure things out along the way. They don't wait for clarity, they create it. Think about the great entrepreneurs, leaders, and visionaries in history. Do they wait for permission? Do they sit back and weigh every possible outcome before taking action? No, they moved forward with speed, with boldness, and with conviction. And that brings us to the next key to success: the courage to decide, to act, and to lead your life forward before certainty arrives. Let's explore what it truly means to make a decision that changes everything. In the previous section, we explored how successful people don't wait. They decide, act, and trust their instincts. Now let's go deeper into what separates those who succeed from those who never even begin: the courage to act. Henry Ford didn't change the world because he hesitated. He made bold decisions. That's the difference. The line between success and failure often comes down to a single choice. Will you take action or will you delay? The truth is, the world doesn't reward hesitation. It rewards movement. The top performers in any field don't waste precious time second-guessing themselves. They make a decision, they commit to it, and then they follow through with action. And here's something you need to understand. You don't have to be perfect to start. You don't need every answer, every skill, or total clarity. You simply need to begin. Most people stay stuck because they believe they need more experience, more knowledge, or more certainty before taking action. But that's a trap. Clarity doesn't come from overthinking. It comes from doing. The more decisions you make, the more your instincts sharpen. The more risks you take, the more comfortable you become navigating the unknown. Successful people know something that others forget. Even a wrong decision is better than no decision. Why? Because every step, even the missteps, leads to growth. Mistakes teach. Action reveals what works and what doesn't. Progress happens when you move, not when you wait. The real danger? It's not failure, it's inaction. It's the slow erosion of potential that comes from sitting on the sidelines, paralyzed by fear. Think about it. How many times have you waited too long to decide, only to watch the opportunity slip away? How many moments of doubt have cost you progress? Now ask yourself this. What could happen if you just decided, right now, to move forward with full confidence? How much further could you be? This is your moment. It's time to trust yourself. It's time to act as if you were the best, because the best don't overthink every move. They take bold steps. They fall, they learn, and they keep going. They don't wait for certainty. They create it. So make your move. Stop hesitating. Stop overanalyzing. Whatever your dream, your vision, your goal, commit to it. Step forward with confidence. Because the future belongs to those who decide, those who commit, and those who execute. Be that person and watch how fast your life begins to transform. And once you've made your decision, there's only one thing left: to keep going no matter what. Because success never comes without struggle. Let's talk next about the one trait all high achievers share: persistence. In the last part, we talked about the power of bold decisions and how inaction, not failure, is the true threat to your progress. Now let's look at what happens when you do act and things still go wrong. Because they will. And that's where the real difference is made, not in how you start, but in how you respond when you fall. The greatest winners in history weren't immune to failure. Far from it. What set them apart was simple. They refused to stop. They didn't let failure define their worth or limit their future. Instead, they treated every setback as a stepping stone, a necessary part of the journey toward greatness. Failure is not the end. It's a teacher. It's feedback. It's a test. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times before creating a working light bulb. Henry Ford filed for bankruptcy more than once before he transformed the auto industry. Walt Disney, he was told he lacked imagination, but not one of them gave in. They knew the truth. As long as you keep moving forward, you never truly fail. One of the most powerful examples of resilience comes from the 1930s, the Great Depression. It was one of the darkest economic periods in history. Millions lost their homes, jobs, and businesses. Entire families were devastated. And yet, in the middle of that chaos, something extraordinary happened. New fortunes were built. A new generation of millionaires emerged. Not because they had it easy, but because they refused to give up. They adapted. They endured. They saw opportunity where others saw only loss. The lesson is clear. Adversity is temporary, but quitting? That's forever. Life will knock you down. That's guaranteed. The only question is, will you stay down or will you rise stronger? The world does not reward the ones who quit when it gets tough. It rewards those who keep going. The greatest mindset you can adopt is this: act as if losing is not an option. Because when quitting is no longer on the table, you force your mind to adapt. You search harder for solutions. You push through the pain, the failure, and the fear until the only thing left is success. Look at any self-made success story and you'll find the same core pattern: resilience, persistence, and an unbreakable belief in oneself. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't always talent, or intelligence, or even timing. It's the will to keep going when others stop. It's the courage to see failure not as a wall, but as a doorway. Ask yourself, how many times have you stopped just short of breakthrough because it got too hard? How many dreams have you let go of because the obstacles seemed too big? Now imagine, just imagine, what might have happened if you had kept going. Because in the next part, we'll talk about how to transform that inner persistence into daily action that compounds over time, until it becomes unstoppable momentum. In the last part, we explored how persistence, the refusal to quit, can turn failure into fuel. Now let's talk about what happens when you keep going, even when everything in you wants to stop. Imagine where you'd be right now if you had never given up. What if at every turning point, you had chosen to persist rather than retreat? You must train your mind to see obstacles not as roadblocks, but as challenges to be conquered. The struggle isn't there to stop you, it's there to shape you. The discomfort? That's where your growth lives. Every time you push past a failure, every time you keep going when it would be easier to stop, you're becoming stronger, smarter, and more prepared for the success that's ahead. There will be moments, many of them, when quitting will feel easier. Doubt will whisper in your ear. Fatigue will weigh you down. You'll start asking yourself, is it even worth it? But in those moments, remind yourself, as long as you refuse to quit, you can never truly fail. The only real failure is giving up before the finish line. Everything else, that's just part of the process. That's the training ground. The winners of the world aren't the ones who never stumbled. They're the ones who kept getting back up. Every time. So decide right now. No matter how long it takes, no matter how many setbacks show up, commit to pushing forward. Act as if losing is not an option. When quitting is off the table, success becomes your only destination. But there's one more thing that will determine whether you stay the course or give up halfway, and that's who you choose to surround yourself with. Because success doesn't happen in isolation. Let's talk next about one of the most powerful strategies used by high achievers throughout history, the mastermind group, and why it might be the missing piece in your journey to the top. In the last section, we explored how persistence keeps you moving forward, but even the strongest mindset needs the right environment to thrive. That's where the power of a mastermind group comes in, because the people around you will either lift you up or pull you down. Take a look at the most successful figures in history. Henry Ford had Thomas Edison in his circle. Yes, even with rivalry, they challenged each other to think bigger, to innovate further, to never settle. True success isn't just built on effort, it's built on association. The people you regularly interact with have a direct influence on your goals, your energy, and your vision. Your environment shapes your reality. If you're surrounded by people who are content with average, your ambition will begin to shrink to fit their limitations. But when you spend time with those who are constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible, your standards rise. Their mindset, their drive, and their energy become contagious. They lift you to new heights, even when you didn't know you had more to give. So, how do you start building this kind of network? How do you create your own mastermind group? First, seek out people who inspire you, people who are already living the life you're aiming for. Study their habits, learn from their content. If you can connect with them in person, even better. But if not, absorb their wisdom through books, podcasts, and online platforms. Let their influence shape the way you think and operate. Second, protect your mental space. That doesn't mean you have to completely cut people off, but you must distance yourself from toxic energy. If someone constantly drains your motivation, fills you with doubt, or keeps your thinking small, it's time to set boundaries. You owe it to your goals to create space for clarity and momentum. Third, add value. Powerful relationships are built on mutual exchange. Don't just look to receive, ask what you can give. Offer insight, encouragement, support. Be the kind of person who uplifts others, and naturally, you'll attract others who uplift you. Finally, hold yourself to a higher standard. If you want to be in the company of high achievers, you need to operate like one. Expect more from yourself. Aim higher. Commit to your growth daily. Because greatness isn't just about talent. It's about putting yourself in environments that demand your best. If you spend your time around small thinkers, your dreams will shrink to fit that space. But surround yourself with giants, and your vision will expand beyond limits you once thought were real. So ask yourself, who's influencing your thinking right now? Are they pushing you forward or holding you back? Choose wisely. Because in the next part, we'll talk about how to translate all this mindset and momentum into real, strategic, measurable action, so your dreams don't stay ideas, but become results. In the previous section, we explored how surrounding yourself with the right people can elevate your entire mindset and unlock your full potential. But even with the best external influences, your greatest transformation begins internally, with your subconscious mind. Your subconscious is incredibly powerful. It's like a garden. Whatever you plant in it, whether intentionally or by default, will eventually grow. If you constantly feed it thoughts of fear, doubt, or failure, those thoughts will take root. They'll grow strong, and before you know it, they'll start dictating your choices, actions, and ultimately your reality. But here's the beauty. The same is true for confidence, belief, and success. If those are the seeds you plant, nurture, and protect, your life will begin to transform in extraordinary ways. Your outer world will start to reflect the power of your inner world. Most people never take control of this. They go through life completely unaware of the influence their subconscious mind has. They let negativity run rampant. They allow fear, comparison, and past failures to dominate their mental space. They focus on what's wrong instead of what's possible. And just like weeds in a neglected garden, those negative thoughts grow wild, choking out any space where growth or success could have taken root. But those who truly understand the power of the subconscious mind treat it differently. They take control. They become intentional. They consistently and consciously plant beliefs that strengthen them, challenge them, and move them forward. Every day, you must feed your mind with positivity, possibility, and purpose. This isn't just some feel-good idea. It's essential. Your mind is under constant influence. The news, social media, even casual conversations. These are all opportunities for negative seeds to be planted. And if you're not actively choosing what grows in your mind, negativity will grow by default. So what can you do? You must become the gatekeeper of your thoughts. Choose what enters. Guard your mental garden. Read books that stretch your thinking. Listen to motivational content that fires up your belief. Surround yourself with voices that build you up, not ones that tear you down. Drown out the noise of limitation. Reject self-doubt before it finds room to grow. Create a mental environment that reinforces success, confidence, and resilience. High achievers know this. They don't allow fear or failure to take control. They don't let negative self-talk shape their decisions. Instead, they deliberately program their minds with strength, conviction, and vision. They visualize success before it happens. They move as if it's already real, because once the subconscious mind accepts it, reality starts to bend in that direction. Now ask yourself, what thoughts are you planting every day? Are they building your future or holding it back? Because in the next part, we'll explore how to take that inner programming even further and turn belief into a daily ritual that reconditions your identity for lasting success. In the last section, we explored how your subconscious mind shapes your reality and how the beliefs you plant there can either empower or limit your life. Now, let's take that one step further and uncover how belief becomes behavior and how your mind, once properly trained, leads your life into alignment with your dreams. Here's a powerful truth. Your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. When you consistently tell yourself that you are a winner, that you are unstoppable, that success is inevitable. Your mind doesn't question it. It accepts those words as truth. And once your subconscious accepts a belief, your entire life begins to align with it. Your thoughts, your habits, your decisions, they all start operating in sync with this new identity. You begin to walk differently, talk with more certainty, and make choices with more confidence. You start seeing possibilities where others see problems. You attract opportunities that others overlook. You transform setbacks into stepping stones. This isn't fantasy. It's not wishful thinking. It's psychology. Top athletes use this exact technique to prepare their minds to win championships long before the game begins. Successful entrepreneurs use it to build empires before the first sale is made. Great leaders use it to inspire teams to follow them into uncertainty. They all understand one thing. Victory begins in the mind before it ever shows up in the world. So ask yourself, if you knew, without a single doubt, that you would succeed, how would you act today? Would you hesitate? Would you hold back? Or would you take bold action with absolute confidence? When belief is rooted deep in your subconscious, everything changes. You take smarter risks. You stay focused through adversity. You make clearer decisions and bounce back faster from failure. You become resilient, consistent, and driven, not because of external motivation, but because your internal belief system has already decided the outcome. Right now, your future is being shaped by the thoughts you're planting today. So what will you grow? Will you allow seeds of fear, doubt, and hesitation to take root? Or will you plant thoughts of courage, confidence, and commitment? The choice is entirely yours. From this moment forward, decide to think intentionally. Speak success into existence. Act as though your vision is already yours. Train your subconscious mind to expect greatness. And sooner than you think, your reality will start to match your belief. And once belief is solid, there's one more ingredient that changes everything: decisive action. In the next section, we'll look at what history teaches us about the power of acting boldly, especially in times of crisis. In the last section, we learned how belief, when deeply rooted in your subconscious, can shape your identity and influence every decision. But belief alone isn't enough. Without decisive action, even the strongest mindset remains potential, not power. Let's go back to one of the most defining eras in history, the Great Depression. While fear gripped the world and millions stood still, paralyzed by uncertainty, a bold few moved forward. They didn't let fear dictate their steps. They took risks. They saw the chaos not as a barrier, but as a doorway. And those few, the fearless, the action takers, built fortunes while others stood frozen in doubt. Look at the industrialists and entrepreneurs of that time. While the masses hesitated, visionaries like Henry Ford, John D. Rockefeller, and Andrew Carnegie continued to press ahead. They understood something most people didn't. Fortune favors the bold. Those who waited for perfect conditions were left behind. But those who acted in spite of uncertainty, who made bold, courageous moves when others hesitated, rose to greatness. And that same principle still applies today. Success is not for the hesitant. It's for those who are willing to leap before it's comfortable. It's for those who take massive action, who move forward even when there are no guarantees. The world does not reward inaction. It rewards those who step forward with confidence and keep moving no matter what. So what does this mean for you? It means waiting is no longer an option. If you want success, you must behave as if it's already yours. You must move with conviction. Make decisions with speed. Be flexible enough to adjust along the way, but never allow hesitation to keep you stuck. Most people don't fail because they lack skill. They fail because they lack the courage to act. They overthink. They wait. They seek perfect clarity, and in the process, miss their window of opportunity. But the winners? They know no opportunity is ever perfect. There will always be uncertainty, always be risk. And yet they move. They invest in themselves. They trust their instincts. And because of that, they create opportunities where others see limitations. They act with the confidence that success is inevitable, and their boldness shapes the results they get. So ask yourself honestly, are you still waiting for the perfect moment? Are you letting fear write your story? Or are you ready to take bold steps forward, to claim the success that's already within reach? If you want to win, you must turn decisive action into a habit. No more waiting, no more second guessing. Because in the next part, we'll uncover the key to sustaining that momentum, even when life tests you, and how to build the kind of consistency that separates the great from the average. In the last section, we talked about the power of decisive action, how bold moves open doors that hesitation never will. But how do you keep taking action when the path ahead feels unclear? That's where the real test begins. And the answer lies in how you train your mindset. Success isn't something you stumble upon. It's a mindset you build, and you build it through consistent, fearless action. You must act as if you cannot fail. You must move forward as if success is already guaranteed. Because when you do, something powerful happens. Your actions begin to align with that belief. Your choices become sharper. Your energy becomes more focused, and opportunities begin to appear. The world has a way of bending in favor of those who refuse to wait. Those who stop asking for permission and start acting with purpose. So be one of those people. Take bold steps, make fearless moves, and watch what happens when you stop holding back. But there's one force that can silently undo all of this if you let it. Fear. And that's where we turn next. Fear is the single biggest enemy of success. It paralyzes you. It destroys confidence. It keeps even the most talented people trapped in a life far below their true potential. During moments of crisis, like the Great Depression, it wasn't just the economic collapse that destroyed lives. It was the fear of change, fear of risk, fear of the unknown. And here's the truth. Fear is a natural instinct. It's hardwired into our brains to protect us from danger. But in today's world, it no longer serves the same purpose. It's no longer just about survival. It's become a mental prison. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of rejection. These aren't real threats, but they feel real. And if you let them, they can quietly kill ambition, crush your confidence, and rob you of your future. But here's what separates the successful from everyone else. They learn how to use fear. They don't deny it. They don't ignore it. They recognize it for what it is, a signal that they're about to do something meaningful, something that matters. Instead of retreating, they step forward. They understand that fear is often a sign they're heading in the right direction. Every great success story you know, every entrepreneur, athlete, or leader you admire has faced fear. They felt it, but they didn't let it stop them. They acted anyway. Because courage isn't the absence of fear, it's movement in the presence of it. So ask yourself, what are you afraid of right now? Is it failure? Judgment? Rejection? Good. That means you're on the right path. Because the things that scare you the most are often the very things that have the power to change your life. And in the next part, we'll talk about how to reframe that fear and use it as a weapon to fuel your growth rather than hold you back. In the previous part, we uncovered a powerful truth. Fear is not a stop sign. It's a signal that you're stepping into something meaningful. And if you've made it this far, you already know what lies on the other side of fear is often everything you've ever wanted. Fear isn't your enemy. In fact, it's often the clearest indicator that you're growing, stretching, evolving. The biggest mistake people make is believing they have to eliminate fear before they can begin. They wait to feel ready. They wait for confidence to show up first. But that moment, it rarely comes. Because confidence isn't the starting point, it's the result. It's something you earn through action. Every time you move through fear, Every time you take that first bold step, fear loses its grip. The more you face it, the more its voice fades. And eventually, you realize the fear you once thought was real was nothing more than an illusion. This is the simple difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck. Successful people act in spite of fear. They don't wait until the fear disappears. They know discomfort is part of the journey. That risk is the price of growth. And every time they feel fear, they remind themselves, fear is a liar, a storyteller weaving worst-case scenarios that rarely ever come true. History proves this. During the Great Depression, many let fear consume them. They froze. They retreated. But those who took risks, those who adapted, invested, and acted with courage, those are the ones who built fortunes. Fear held the masses back, but the bold few who pushed forward, the world rewarded them. And the same rule still applies. Today, success doesn't belong to the fearless. It belongs to those who act while afraid. It belongs to the ones who show up uncertain, who step forward even when the outcome isn't guaranteed, and keep moving anyway. Because that's what greatness demands. So let me ask you, will fear shape your story? Or will you? You don't need to be fearless to win. You just need to be brave enough to take the next step. Feel the fear, but do it anyway. Because on the other side of that fear lies the life you were meant to live. And only those who move forward get to experience it. The world will never believe in you if you don't first believe in yourself. So walk like you're the best. Speak like it. Work like it. Live like it. And soon, the world will have no choice but to see you that way. Success isn't about luck, it's about decision. And today, I challenge you. Are you going to wait for success or rise and claim it? Now go act like you are the best, and don't stop until the world agrees. Wishing you strength, clarity, and unstoppable momentum. Stay healthy, stay inspired. And don't forget to subscribe to Mindset Daily for more content to elevate your journey.